All right, so this is probably the most important tool that we need to learn about. This is the pen tool. The pen tool is found underneath the path tools right here. The pen tool is the primary vector line creating tool that we'll use for almost everything. So having a good handle on how it works is super important. This screencast will be completely dedicated to just the use of the pen tool, and I'll get into some other stuff afterwards. So the pen tool is a click and click tool. So to make a new shape, I click, click, and then go back to where I began to end that shape. And you can see that there's no fill put on that. Well, there's a fill, there's a white fill, you just can't see it. So I'm going to select it and we'll just make it black. Okay. So another way to use the pen tool is to make a sort of line all by itself. So I'm going to click, 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 click. And you can see it's actually filling in that line. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that in a moment. And I'm going to double click to end that line. But generally when we make lines, we don't want them to have a fill unless we're going to make a shape like we did up here. If you ever start clicking and you don't like what we do, you can actually press escape on the keyboard and then Control Z, it will sort of undo. So Control Z is undo. Those are also found up here, undo. So I'm going to go back to my selection arrow and I'm going to select this shape. And you can see its fill is black. If I don't want it to have a fill, I can get rid of that fill by lowering what's called the opacity of the fill. That's found in the bottom toolbar. So the top toolbar is the actual color of the fill. The bottom toolbar is what's called the opacity. And so I'm going to lower the opacity all the way to 0, and you'll notice that the fill completely disappears. And if I want to make this line thicker, I can do that by, I'll just make it so you can see a nice thick line there. Okay, so the pen tool we use for drawing all types of things, drawing pictures, tracing stuff, all types of things. It's super useful. You can also draw curves with the pen tool, and you do that by clicking and holding the left click down, and you create these control bars, and then I can finish the curve by double clicking, and there's sort of the end line of my curve. And if I want to end that, I'll just press escape on my keyboard, and there's the end of my curve. Now, with the pen tool, you can do a whole bunch of things. So with this selected, you notice I selected the pen tool. I can actually continue my line going forward if I wanted to. I can select this line as well and go to the sub select from it. That will show me there and bring the pen tool back. And you'll notice that a minus appears here. So I can actually click minus and it will actually take that point away. Well, I don't know if it did. It should have. Not sure why it didn't. Well, anyway, we won't worry about that. Forget about that. So that's the pen tool. It's super great for drawing all types of things, shapes, pictures, using it for all types of things and getting good hand. There's a lot of tutorials that we'll have on how to use it to trace things and all different types of things. The main thing is, though, that if you really want to create a solid shape that's not going to be one of the using from the shape tools, you want to sort of draw your own thing, sort of pull these off to the side, is that always going back to where you started with the pen tool is super important. So you can notice it actually tells me that I'm there with the little O. And so I can use it. I can go back like that. And now this is an object just like anything else, right? I can make it bigger and smaller. I can rotate it. I can change its border size and make it 5 and so forth. I can change its fill to all different types of things. And if you really want to get fancy with fills, just sort of, I'll show this really quickly here. So this is a normal fill. There's all different other types of fills you can use, which is pretty exciting. And there's different types of fills too. So there's all different types of things you can sort of add on to in terms of fills and sort of try different stuff out. A lot of exploring to do when it comes to fills and borders as well. So I'm going to keep this one short. That's on the pen tool. And the next one's going to be on the sub select, which is equally as important. And we'll sort of get there.